This week's episode is brought to you by the hashtags Vintage Utility and Regal Core. Hello my lovelies, welcome to my little cottage by the sea, the place where I love to stitch and craft my way to a vintage inspired and sustainable lifestyle. I really love this time of year, the moment between Ostara, the spring equinox, through Easter and then on to Beltane May Day, which is a huge thing here in Hastings in East Sussex on the south coast of England. The sap is rising, the sun is shining, the days are longer. There seems to be so much to celebrate despite quite a lot of craziness going on in the world. So in this episode, I wanted to share with you how I'm styling my handmade outfits for spring. I've got two very distinct stories that I've created. I like to come up with a story and then dress for that story. I create a sort of character in the story and then it sort of inspires my makes, my outfits. It also inspires lots of reading and viewing, which gives me further inspiration. But my two distinct style outfits are a casual vintage utility and then a look that has been inspired by a book I recently read by Alison Weir called Mary I, Queen of Sorrows. I used to be really into Tudor history in my teens and I'm recently refinding my passion for Tudor, Elizabethan, early modern history. This look is really inspired by all the beautiful descriptions of what Mary I and the Tudor court were wearing, and I am calling it Regal Core. So let's dive into my wardrobe and have a little look at how I'm styling my handmade outfits for spring. Let's first look at vintage utility, and I did a video on creating a vintage utility capsule collection. It was all inspired by 1930s workwear. The first outfit, number one, is based around the Helen trousers, which are a very classic 1930s, 40s trouser, really easy to wear, and I made these over on Patreon along with the trouser block, which was based off of your skirt block, so a really fabulous fit. I've styled it here with a classic 30s 40s blouse with puffly sleeves in this very pretty ditzy print that I bought many moons ago from Jacob's Haberdashery. This is the Simplicity pattern, you know, the one, the Rosie the Riveter one. I can't remember the number. I've also been re-watching In the Pursuit of Love, the BBC series based off of the Nancy Mitford book, and I loved how every outfit was accessorised with a scarf, and my research in Pinterest land shows me that that is a big styling trick. So all of my vintage utility outfits are also inspired by scarves. I always look out for them when I'm thrifting, and this little silk one was a treasure I found. Outfit number two is inspired by this beautiful 1930s lady I found on Pinterest. It's a bit of an experiment and I'm starting with a base layer of this Marks and Spanker's crew neck tee, not the most fashionable, and then I'm styling it with my Mickey Mouse sweatshirt. I don't often buy on the high street, but I am a sucker for Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse merch. I think this look would have been better with a Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse t-shirt. I couldn't find the one I wanted. I think it's in the wash. I also love that high-low look that Fancy Jewels brings, and I always wear my Nan's pearls. I styled this look also around the scarf that I showed you in a recent knitting video. I think this look would be better with some kind of cardigan like this, by the way. And here are my very worn and old Converse that I styled all these vintage utility outfits with. I really like Converse because of their vintage provenance, hitting the stores in 1917, and maybe actually the Helen trousers need to be made in a denim for that really casual workwear look. And I recently found a copy of the Foreman pattern. I completely forgot I had it. I've been dilly-dallying with making a chore jacket, and I really feel that now is the time. You'll be seeing a lot of these sunglasses in this video. I bought these in Bobby and Dandy Vintage, which is a great store selling vintage Americana and workwear here in Hastings Old Town. I went for this lovely olivey khaki colour rather than my usual black, and I really love them. They come in lots of other colours too, so I might go back and get another pair. Here's the look all together. I'm not 100% with it, but as I said, it's an experiment, a work in progress, and I definitely need to add a few new elements to this vintage utility theme in my handmade wardrobe. My third vintage utility outfit is based around the artist Barbara Hepworth in the 30s and the shepherd skirt from Merchant & Mills. I think this is probably my favourite look out of the three that I put together, and I definitely want to expand on this theme. I did a video about making this skirt, and I got a lot of questions about how to sew the pockets because it was a bit confusing. I am going to be making another skirt, and I'll make sure that I focus on those pesky pockets. Here's another vintage scarf. This one is silk. I thought it was Liberty when I saw it, but I don't think it is. It's just so zingy and springy, and I love the colours in it, although it's not really my typical colour palette. This stripe Breton tee is a make from so many moons ago. I can't even remember what the pattern is, but it's a really good pattern. One of my absolute favourite garments and most worn in my handmade wardrobe. I thought I'd focus on my jewellery here, my Nan's pearls, and these are Kate Spade earrings that I bought in a wardrobe agency locally in Hastings called Wardrobe Imaginatively. And this is a rose gold ring that was my father's. He bought it back from India, and I always wear my Gucci heart, which was a gift from my form group when I was a secondary school teacher. I think I feel the most me in this outfit, and I wonder if it's because I'm just happier in skirts rather than trousers, but we shall see. Simple little styling tricks like just folding up the cuff edges of t-shirts and shirts really does make the look a little bit more special. I really don't know why. And this is my only casual jacket. It's an Italian vintage army surplus jacket that my lovely friend from Houlihan, Hannah, gave me a very long time ago now. She tailors these pieces and has a sustainable brand, well worth a look. I love to collect little brooches from around the place. These are all RSPB charity brooches in my favourite colour palette of pink, black and white. I love the colour of army surplus, and I especially love that this jacket has these stars on the collar. I do think though I need to get that chore jacket made. Now that I've got the Foreman pattern, there really is no excuse, but actually I don't have any fabric and I'm not sure what colour I want to make it in. Now it's time to get queenly and look at Regal Core, inspired by this fabulous book filled with the most wonderful descriptions of costumes and jewels. And this dress came to me as I was dreaming one night of life at Tudor Court, a perilous place to be by all accounts. I made it from my favourite Liberty print called Honeymoon, covered in beautiful sweet pea and cobwebs. I thought my Nana's 21st birthday present, a real treasure of mine, would look beautiful with this dress. The red of that cut glass matches the sweet peas in the print, but also it's suitably gothic. I really love hellebores, especially these very, very dark purpley ones. When I have a garden, I'll be growing these. I styled all the Regal Core looks with my pearl earrings that I showed you earlier from Kate Spade and just some gold ballet flats. It's a bit tricky knowing what shoes to wear with this look, but I'm going to keep a lookout because I'm sure there's going to be a lot more Regal Core in my life. I like that you can wear this dress with the tie done up to give a little bit more of a formal look, or have it down, and that sort of deep opening is quite flattering, especially if you're boobalicious like I am. And of course pockets. Another little trick that I did with the gathered skirt was to leave it flat across the tummy. That is quite flattering when you are tummylicious like I am. Regal Core look number 2 is based around this pattern, the Bess collar, which was one of the first patterns I ever released. And it was named for Good Queen Bess, Elizabeth I, my favourite queen. And I really wanted to make sure that I got that Tudor type shape rather than just a bigger collar. I styled it with a favourite recent make. This is a vintage pattern that I got in a charity shop, a style pattern. And I like the square neckline, which gives it that sort of Tudor-y vibes. And then strings of pearls, because that is something that a queen would do. Must learn to tie bows more aesthetically. This brooch that I've put onto my Bess collar is a strawberry brooch that I put together as a project for my lovely coven members over on Patreon. It's actually Elizabethan stump work, a technique that I'm absolutely obsessed with. Incidentally, I'm allergic to strawberries. I really like this way of creating a story to build outfits around, and you can wake up in the morning and say to yourself, am I Regal Core today or am I vintage utility? It really makes me excited about putting outfits on, and it makes me think a little bit more about the clothes that I have in my wardrobe. Every queen needs a pet flamingo, and this here Doris is the most beautiful of regal pets. Don't let Ghost Timmy say that. My third Regal Core look is based around this blouse that I made over on Patreon, a couple of years ago now. It has this wonderful box pleat trim, which is a technique I really need to revisit. I love how little jewels act as little mementos, memories of beautiful times, and I really love this brooch. It's not one that I wear very often, but I immediately thought of it when I was reading Mary I, Queen of Sorrows. It really has got that Tudor Elizabethan look. And I'm wearing this with that style dress again, this time without sleeves, a sort of pinafore look, and I have to say that I feel that this look is outfit perfection. I love the voluminous sleeves on this blouse, and I've even done a faced cuff with a little scalloped edges, which is so pretty. This blouse is based off of the midi blouses that were very popular in the teens and 20s, and I really do need to make some more items like this for my wardrobe. It's so comfortable and versatile. I also made this gilet called the Lucrezia, a queen of notorious infamy. It has Italian trapunto or quilting on it, and it's another technique that I want to really revisit. I feel that my love of heritage and heirloom sewing has really been reinvigorated by this particular video and putting these looks together. I love those sort of basic garments for vintage utility, and then these much more labour intensive and special garments. This little gilet is ever so warm as it's got a layer of calico inside, and I'll definitely be doing some trapunto here at some point on the channel. I hope you found this video interesting. I really love sharing what I'm making, but actually I realise I don't often share how I'm styling what I've made and what I've thrifted and vintage treasures that I pick up along the way. So I really wanted to add in a little bit more styling. Let me know what you think if you'd like to see more. And I'm really looking forward to continuing to develop both of these very distinct looks. The vintage utility look, which is casual and more of a capsule collection, and then this Regal Core, which is more about detail. It's more about luxe fabrics and heritage sewing and more special occasions. And after all, life in general is the special occasion, at least to my mind. As ever, thank you, my lovelies, for taking the time to spend the time with me here today in my little cottage by the sea. It's always so lovely to hang out with so many kindred spirits from around the world, and I'm very grateful for all your kindness and just for being here with me. Sending you much love this spring day. See you in the next one.